Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Christelle Coleman, and as per usual, I have the immense privilege and honor to be your host today. We are on InsureTalk number 38, and it's the last one of the year. I am so happy today. It's one of those markers in time that says holidays are about to start. It's also one of those special days because we're in this week of all the Institute dinners. I know IIG had their dinner last week. It was a huge success. And we've got the Cape Town dinner tomorrow night here in Cape Town. We're coming to you live from Cape Town. And the KZN dinner on Saturday evening, and the various institutes around the country celebrating the end of the year and the start of some downtime for many of us, if we're lucky enough. So today we, as I said, we are on InsureTalk number 38. We're just fresh back from the first live event last month. I can't believe it's a month already. And it really was such a success. I'm still on a little bit of a cloud because I really enjoyed it so much. And I hear from the team here at InsureTalk that we are planning 2 live events for next year. So please be on the lookout for the news on that. Hopefully one in Cape Town as well. Because I know the Cape Town market gets neglected sometimes. So I say to them, we need to do this in Cape Town. We'll be oversubscribed. We're opening up our InsureTalk 2024 season. February is the first event, so please make sure to register for the events next year and join us around this virtual roundtable that has become such a successful event on our calendars each month. Today, we are going to be talking about, as per usual, a very interesting and diverse topic. The topic of today is accelerating horizons, embracing AI, resilience, and reflections in insurance. We live in an era of digital solutions. You know, the drama this past week of OpenAI CEO resigning, then he's coming back, then he's joining Microsoft, then he's coming back again. Some of us have become quite dependent on OpenAI. It's become a part of our world and how we operate. And we are going to talk about how this is going into the next phase and how it's reshaping the insurance landscape. As holidays approach, insurers and brokers find themselves delicately balancing reflection and action, pondering the past year's lessons, while forging ahead into an uncertain future. It's been a volatile year. As insurers, I mean, just this past week, we had the hail in Joburg again. How do we take what we do and embrace technology that's out there? We're not even going to talk about the drama of grid failure. I think some of us are starting to work through that, but these are all the issues that we have had to deal with this past year. So each facet underscores the need for adaptation, resilience, and proactive measures in safeguarding the industry and its stakeholders and policyholders. So today we have 2 event partners, SSP and INSDI. Both are friends of our events that we host each month. And our first speaker that's up is someone that I've known. You must think that I know everyone for many, many years, but I have known Joel Rothman for many, many years as well. I just want to tell you a little bit about Joel, and then you are going to really enjoy what he's going to talk about today. Joel taught himself to code at the age of 14, went on to graduate cum laude with a computer science honors degree, and early in his career became involved in the development of large-scale enterprise software solutions. He's had an illustrious career since then. We also spent some time working together at MUA. But in recent years, he says he became very frustrated by the cumbersome and non-secure ways that many businesses gather information and documents from their clients. Joel, together with his business partner, Nick Esterhazy, co-founded INSDI, short for Instant Digital, in early 2020. We don't talk about that time of 2020 easily. Through the online INSDI platform, Joel and Nick aim to provide businesses with a secure, cost-effective way to rapidly digitize their client engagement processes and improve sales and service delivery. At AMI, we have adopted the INSDI way of work. We use their services and their product, and I can vouch for it, but you will hear more about on the topic Instant Digital, AI shifts into second gear. Over to you, Joel.
Great. Thank you, Christelle. Very exciting. Let's just share the right screen here. Give me a sec. Okay, that should be coming through. And just give me 1 second. Find my presentation. Okay. Great. Good morning, everybody. That got way too many windows open. Okay, there we have it. Morning, everyone. As you've just heard, I'm Joel Rothman, co-founder of InsureTalk38. And because InsureTalk38 is a relative newcomer, having only come into existence in the spring of 2020, as Christelle mentioned, I'm just going to give you a one-slide introduction / marketing pitch. Apologies about that. Just to give you some context. And then we'll talk about a few prizes. We've got, Black Friday tomorrow, so there's got to be some prizes. And then I'll also get on with the rest of the talk straight after that. Okay, Instant Digital, there's my contact details. So just a little bit of backstory, born out of our own frustration, InsureTalk38 came about because when we spoke to clients, they were really getting frustrated by a number of things relating to dealing with businesses like ours and like yours, to and fro emailing to gather information, long clunky PDF forms with way more fields than the client needed to see, web forms that didn't allow them to stop and continue again or share with someone else, having to remember logins, filling in blank forms when the business already has the information, and the list of frustrations goes on. I think we can all personally identify with these. And the challenge was talking to the businesses, looking for ways to digitize the client engagement and improve their client experience. The businesses had POPI top of mind, so they wanted a secure process. They didn't want data leaving South Africa. They didn't want information, or they wanted information provided in a way so that it could go straight into their other line of business systems. They also wanted to be able to gather information through other third parties, such as intermediaries and employers. And some businesses wanted the option of self-service admin. Other businesses said, look, we don't have capacity for that. Please provide us with a fully managed service. And no long-term contracts. So with that as the backdrop, InsureTalk38, being an advanced digital information gathering and sharing platform, was born to address exactly those needs. And, as we speak, InsureTalk38 handles thousands of information gathering interactions every single week. As Christelle mentioned, InsureTalk38 comes from the two words, instant digital, because we believe in getting your business to value fast. Okay, if you're interested, there's the email, hi@insuretalk38.com. Okay, but as mentioned, it's Black Friday tomorrow, so let's talk about the prizes on offer. But wait, that's not all. There's also another little offering, and that is, if you do sign up for InsureTalk38 before the end of November, there'll be 2 months free on the platform. So just another little incentive. Okay, enough of this sales pitch. Let's get on to the prizes. So we've got some great InsureTalk gear to give away. I know some of you might think it's way too hot for that hoodie right now, but let me tell you, when that autumn chill sets in, you're going to love it. And we've also got the great InsureTalk t-shirt to give away. So how are you going to participate in the draw? Simple. Pick a number between 1 and 20. Just a little hint. Try to choose a number that only a few others have chosen, because you increase your odds of winning. At the end of this talk, we will ask ChatGPT to pick 2 numbers, and then my trusty assistants will do the draw and pick a random winner from each of those 2 groups, and we will then announce the winners on the conference chat and contact you directly for delivery. Okay, have you chosen your number between 1 and 20? Good. Most slides have a number on the bottom left, and when you get to that slide with your chosen number on it, I want you to go to that InsureTalk link, and I want you to go in there and give us some contact details. Tell us if you prefer the hoodie, or tell us your preferred hoodie or t-shirt size, and submit that through to us. For your ease of use, you can also use the QR code on the right-hand side of the screen, And if you're really running into some kind of technology challenge, we've also got hi@insd.com. Either way, we want you in the draw, and we want you to be able to participate in this. Okay, we'll announce the winners directly after this presentation. Okay, let's get on with it. As Christelle alluded to, my goodness, but this month has been absolutely jam-packed with announcements and headline news in the world of AI. Yeah, for those of you following that OpenAI boardroom saga, it has made for riveting news and discussion. And I'm going to park that. We're not going to talk about that yet today. So let's get back to what OpenAI has given to us, which is ChatGPT. That was unleashed on the world, almost exactly a year ago. And they raced to a record-breaking 100 million users within 2 months. And on the 6th of November, just earlier this month, ChatGPT launched their latest version of their offering. And now it's not just a text chatbot. It's able to see, it's able to hear, and it's able to talk. And I'm going to show you a few examples of what this next generation of ChatGPT can do. It's also good to just understand where this is all going. If you go to OpenAI's website, you can see they talk about something called artificial general intelligence, or AGI. So, you know, OpenAI is driving at this. This is their mission. And what is AGI? It's basically a highly advanced form of AI that can understand, learn, and apply its intelligence to a wide range of problems, just like a human can. AGI is seen as the holy grail of artificial intelligence, and already we are starting to get a glimpse into this type of intelligence. However, here's the warning. Always remember that AI must be used responsibly. You need to learn to fact-check its outputs and stay vigilant, as it can get creative in very unhelpful ways. Here's my little example. There is 2024 a leap year. It starts off with the answer no, and then says 2024 is a leap year. You need to stay vigilant, and always remember. And one other thing to remember is never send private or personal information to public AI services. So here's my first example of how the new ChatGPT works. I took a screenshot of a monthly expense budget, and I just pasted it directly into ChatGPT. Okay, so that's a screenshot. I just snipped it, pasted it into ChatGPT, and let's read the response there at the bottom. So it recognizes what I've put there. It says, you've uploaded an image that appears to be a list of monthly expenses. If you're looking for assistance with budgeting, tracking expenses, or any financial advice relating to this list, feel free to ask. Interesting, it throws the word financial advice, or the words of financial advice in there. Yeah, I think that's going to give our regulators some sleepless nights. Then another example, I put our InsureTalk38 gear on there, and it immediately recognized what it was. I tried to get it to decide which of those were better. It wasn't going to fall for that debate, and started giving me pros and cons of, the weather and other factors. And then I said, well, can you create a vest with the same logo? Well, it's not exactly the same logo. Again, ChatGPT is part of generative AI. Generative AI is a very, it creates new things essentially. And well, it created something new. It's not quite our logo, but it's fairly creative. The next thing I did was I uploaded a file with 40 random claims records in it. I then asked ChatGPT to analyze the claims by cause code and graph it. And a few seconds later, this is what I got. So I couldn't resist asking it a few more questions about this file that I'd uploaded. You can see it's a normal Excel file. Again, there was no personal information or any company data. In actual fact, I asked ChatGPT to create the file for me, so it did that too. So the next question was, what time of day appears to be the highest risk? And what it did was it gave me the time of day based on the cost of claim. And in this made-up example, it was 10 p.m. at night. I then also asked it for a different view based on the claims count instead of claims estimate. And there you go. Quickly flipped that round, and it gave me a count. And then I asked a follow-up question and said, and show me which day of the week has the highest frequency of claims. I mean, you can see exactly where this is going. And I think this is pretty amazing for a few minutes work. Normally I would have had to, crank up Excel, and it would have been a bit of work to churn these graphs out. Now, the other thing the latest ChatGPT has got is it's got access to the web. So you'll remember, or most of you would know, that the previous version had a hard stop, and that was quite, in terms of its knowledge, and that was quite frustrating. The new ChatGPT, well, it's got access to the internet, and it can browse. So I asked it the question, find 3 commercial insurance brokers here in Cape Town, South Africa, and list their websites and phone numbers. Okay, so this is very interesting. You can see it's doing research with Bing, uses Bing. Microsoft and OpenAI have got a very close relationship with each other. And wow, there we go. I don't know if one of our audience members are your company's represented there, but I think you can see that OpenAI did the research, grabbed what it could, and put the numbers and web addresses up there for me. I then asked a follow-up question, and I said, which of these businesses offer cyber liability insurance? And it's read the websites. It understands what those businesses offer, or at least what they've put on their websites. And there you go. I won't get into all the detail, but it says among the businesses I listed earlier, Efficient Insure specifically mentions offering cyber solutions under their specialist insurance category. Do you see where this is going? This is why Google issued a code red risk alert to their company when ChatGPT was launched. Their core business model is being seriously challenged. But I believe the real magic in all of this generative AI is something called the large language model, or LLM. This is the technology that allows us to communicate with ChatGPT using our normal or natural language, spoken language, and it communicates back to us in natural language. Think what this means for software in general. Did you see any menus in ChatGPT? No. Did you see any applications at all? No. Behind the scenes, ChatGPT uses various tools to achieve its results, tools to browse the web, analyze data, do the calculations, create the graphs, create vests with logos on it, and so on. But you, as the user, all you needed to do was ask it to do something. And this is really the title of the talk, that AI is moving into second gear. You give it an instruction in natural language, and the AI takes care of the tools and the tasks required to achieve the outcome. Let's look at another example other than ChatGPT. So here's Google Home. This is still an experimental interface. And you can give it an instruction like, when the TV turns on after sunset, dim the living room lights and close the blinds. Another sequence of instructions might be, when I lock the office door, switch off the lights, turn off the aircon, close the blinds, and set the alarm. Google Home will write the Google Home automation code for you, job done. Again, you can see how menus and mouse clicks and the complexity of the underlying software will rapidly disappear from all modern applications in the next few years. Some of us might say it can't come too soon. Companies are already seeing this conversational screen-free way of communicating as the new way we will interact with our devices. Here's an image of Humane AI's PIN. They call it the PIN. And you can order it right now for $699. And you talk to it, and it talks back to you. So if we look at the example there, tell Paul from work, I just finished the hike. The view's incredible, and thanks for the great suggestion. And then it quickly crafts a message and says, "Hi, Paul, hope you're doing well. Your hike suggestion was great. Just got to the top and the view is incredible." It's basically like a smartphone without the screen. And when you need to do something, visually, it can project onto your hand, and you can use hand gestures to go forward, go backwards. It can play music. It can do a lot of things that your smartphone can do. It just doesn't have the screen. Look, you may be moving a bit quickly for most people, but it's certainly a sign of things to come. Now, I'm a technology strategist by profession, not a futurist. And so I like to know what is possible for my business right now, or at least in the next 12 to 24 months. And here is the great thing. Everything I've shown you so far is available right now. But let's have a look at what is happening to the software we already use on a daily basis. Let's look at what Microsoft is up to. So if you think about it, Microsoft is incredibly well positioned to assess how busy employees are around the world. And they find that the busiest 20% of Microsoft users were dealing with in excess of 250 emails a day, 150 Teams messages a day, and more. And let's be honest, given this time of the year, I'm sure most of you may be sitting in that top 20 busiest users category, or at least it feels that way. But what is keeping us so busy? Some of you may be familiar with lean management practices and the concept of value stream mapping. And just a general look at the tasks that occupy our time reveals the sad reality that we spend so little time on the activities that directly add value to our business, and so much time on activities that don't really add value in themselves. They're supporting activities. Think of trying to find time in people's diaries, or typing an email to follow up on something that somebody else should have actioned, or recapturing information from one system into another. The list goes on. And just for interest's sake, I heard recently about a hospital group here in South Africa that discovered that their nurses were spending 57% of their time doing admin. Okay, they quickly addressed that, but you can clearly see how that could be a major problem. Now, we might not have patients to deal with, but we do have leads, prospects, clients, suppliers that need our attention. So there are some examples of the information communication related secondary activities that take up our time. Let me just show you quickly. No, I'm not going to go into all of that. There you can see the list. And I couldn't resist doing this. There's the list of all those secondary activities, and wow, AI is coming to the rescue. Okay, so, oh my word, you might be saying, is AI going to take my job? And, I might say, well, if in the years to come, AI does reduce the number of people a business needs, then it will be a whole lot easier for people to start these businesses. So less people in one business, but more businesses. So stop it. Let's stay grounded. Right now, AI is going to make you a whole lot more productive. And let's look at that. So Microsoft also had one of their biggest conferences just a few days ago, and they have really gone all in on AI co-pilots, what they call co-pilots. This is an AI assistant that works alongside you in all your favorite applications, your Microsoft applications. And it's going to become a standard feature. It's already rolled out to, they've started with the really large enterprises, and I guess it'll trickle feed eventually into everything and all businesses of all sizes. And ultimately, it's going to help us become more productive and more creative, well, when you need it to be. So Microsoft's Copilot combines the power of a large language model with your content to help you achieve your outcomes so much faster. So let me give you a few examples. So Copilot in Word will be able to give you your first draft of a document just based on the prompt that you give it. You can then edit that, you can add to it, and it's going to save you hours in writing and editing time. Copilot in PowerPoint will help you create beautiful presentations with a simple prompt. And again, that's going to save you loads of time. Copilot in Excel will help you analyze trends and create professional looking data visualizations in seconds. I mean, you've seen what ChatGPT can do, and Excel is going to be able to give you that exact same capability. And then Copilot in Outlook helps you clear your inbox in minutes. I love this one, not hours, by summarizing long email threads and suggesting replies to you. And Copilot in Teams, it can summarize key discussion points, including who said what, and even highlight where people disagreed or agreed, and suggest action items, all in real time. You've got to love it. Let me just touch on that Outlook one, because that one really appeals to me. So here's the example. This is Outlook with Outlook Copilot, or the Microsoft Copilot, and the person just typed, or the user just wrote here, draft a response informing the client the shipment is delayed 2 weeks. Okay, and then it generated that response. There you go. And hello Alex, thank you for your continued interest in Really Cloud CPUs. We're glad to hear. There you go. It drafted that response. And what I love is, if you look on the right hand side here, you can see you can change the tone. So you can say, is it direct, neutral, casual, formal? Make it a poem. I don't know. That's a bit funny. And you can select the length, short, medium, long. So yeah, I love that. Even InsureTalk, we've gone all in on Copilots, and we've had our rules and calculations Copilot operational since August, and our admin users love it. It's made their lives so much easier and not having to know how to code these formulas. And we've also been trialing AI-driven document question answering, which is very useful as well. Okay, so let me bring this into a close. There's a saying known as Amara's Law, which says we tend to overestimate the effect of a technology in the short term and underestimate the effect in the long run. And I think in some ways this also is reflected in Gartner's hype cycle, where when a new technology is introduced, our imaginations often run away from us or with us, and we have this peak of inflated expectations, generally followed by some disillusionment. But eventually, in the long run, the technology matures and we arrive at that plateau of productivity. But it does take time and a few bumps in the road to get us there. Think of when Apple's Siri was introduced. Initially, it was, oh, wow, I can talk to this thing. And then after a while, I said, oh, no, Siri sucks, except for the most basic tasks. Hello, Siri, call mom. Calling John. No, stop. So that was the early days. So I'm excited about this next phase of AI we are moving into. Many businesses are sitting with tremendous digital debt and really aren't sure how to move forward. My suggestion is to find and use technologies that give you real wins out of the box, skip the development risk, and get to value fast. There really is a journey of discovery ahead for all of us. Mistakes will be made and lessons learned, but there's no doubt we are seeing the future and it's coming at us fast. Okay, now it's time to ask ChatGPT for the winning submission numbers. So let's quickly connect. The word was quickly. I'm waiting for ChatGPT to wake up. Here we go. It's busy thinking, as you can see. Just giving it a sec. I was going to do a few more live demos, but sometimes ChatGPT does take a few seconds just to apply its mind to things. Okay, connecting. Okay, well, we hope it's connecting. Let's see. Are we going to have any winners today? ChatGPT, and that is one of the challenges at the moment, is that it can from time to time say servers are busy, and then you just got to wait. And that is even I'm on the professional package. So even there, it can have its issues, but just hold on. We're going to just try again. Just gone in and out of the application. Let's see if it connects this time. There we go. Start speaking. Okay, so just turn up the volume. And good morning, ChatGPT.
Good morning. How can I assist you today?
Please say good morning to the attendees of InsureTalk38.
Of course. Good morning to everyone at InsureTalk38.
If you wouldn't mind.
I hope you have a fantastic day filled with insightful discussions and valuable networking. How's the event going so far?
Great. If you wouldn't mind just selecting two different numbers between 1 and 20 inclusive. Getting interesting. We even got that suspenseful music.
I've selected are 3 and 5. Are these for a specific activity or draw at the event?
Yeah, it's for a draw at the event. Gee whiz, how did you know that? But thank you, ChatGPT. That is all.
It's great to hear the numbers will be useful for your draw. I just took a guess based on common uses for random numbers at events. Enjoy the rest of it.
There we go. Okay. You heard it. Hopefully you found that interesting. And yeah, we'll notify the winners shortly. Thank you so much for listening. Bye, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Joel, how awesome was that? I mean, I love the fact that you showed real time how ChatGPT works, and you're letting our secrets out, some of us who've become quite super users of ChatGPT. A tip to the audience: if you start using ChatGPT and you ask it to help write articles or emails for you, specifically emails, it always starts with the same sentence, and we can those of us who use it regularly will immediately spot a ChatGPT email. I hope this email finds you well. Please don't put that in, change it. But Joel, and that was an amazing presentation, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And just to the audience, please engage with Joel on the InsureTalk forms. It is a way to make things so much easier for us as an industry. We use it at AMI, like I said, but if we can all start using it, we can get rid of these stupid flat PDFs that skew because it's been photocopied 1,000 times and clients have to print it out and complete it and whatever. We're in a new age now. This is a fantastic innovation that InsureTalk is brought to market, and I can really recommend that you make contact with him. And the most important thing is they're not expensive. We're a startup. We can't afford expensive digital tools. So please investigate that. Now, I've got two things that I want to say to you. We have something exciting. Okay, so we've posted the link. I'll ask the team to post it again for the registrations for 2024. When the 1,000th registration is going to get a golden ticket to attend any of the live events that InsureTalk will host next year, whether it is the InsureTalk Live in Cape Town or in Joburg. There's some other exciting things that they are planning. It's roughly worth about 1,000 Rand, just under 1,000 Rand. So the 1,000th person to register, sorry, it's my Afrikaans, to register will get a golden ticket from us. I think we've got a few hundred registrations, so please get on the link and register so that we can get it up to 1,000 and get that lucky person to attend one of our events next year. The second thing I want to say is I'm allowed to have a favorite presenter because I'm here every month. And I can honestly say that Peter Olliott is my favorite presenter out of the hundreds of people that we've seen on the show. He is up next. Peter says he's been in the industry since 1981, First 7 years in the insurance company sector, starting at the then Mutual and Federal, and thereafter as a broker and risk management advisor, joining Price Forbes. I also worked for Price Forbes, Peter, so we share that. He says he is passionate about the role of the broker and in particular the value brokers bring to all stakeholders in the sector. I just want to mention something on this point for the brokers out there. You must remember that UMAs are only allowed to do business through brokers. So the UMA is actually the real broker's friend out there. So you must please support the UMA market and help us grow our businesses together. So Peter is going to talk to us on the topic of catastrophes, what they mean for an intermediary. And I'm very, very interested in this talk because it's always full of amazing advice and very, very engaging. So thank you for joining us this morning, Peter, and over to you.
Thank you. I hope everyone can hear me, and I hope this presentation finds you well. Hint, hint. Okay, so the one beauty of doing a virtual presentation is I can do a 2-in-1 presentation. So the first one is for those of you who are really busy and have logged in for CPD points, but don't really have time to listen to my whole diatribe of about 25 slides. So it'll go fairly quickly, and then I'll move into the actual presentation. So here goes the short version. Catastrophes, what they mean for an intermediary. Okay, and then what happens is there's no excuses and nowhere to hide for brokers. Okay, so what we found is the reasonable broker standard on catastrophes has actually been raised. And so my advice is, if you're not going to pay too much attention to catastrophes, run for the hills.
Sorry, Peter Llewellyn, I see that your presentation is not shared yet. Oh, there, it's online now. Thank you so much.
Not a problem. So today's discussion will be the start of the changing environment, what the past 4 years has taught us, on COVID, on Sasria, on floods, public grid failure, and what the next 4 years will teach us, particularly with regards to loss profiles, fires, floods, crime, cyber, motor losses, wars, etc., etc. So the start of the changing environment, and I've done quite a bit of research on floods across South Africa, even in KZN, and one thing was quite interesting was I found that at the turn of the century, they had a storm measured 600 millimeters in one day, which obviously surpassed the April 22 floods in volume, but obviously because it was a lot more modern infrastructure, the damage was far more extensive. So what it has shown is that weather patterns have definitely changed over the past 40 years or so. However, over the past 220 years, believe it or not, we've had about 1,000 hazardous events, the majority of which have been related to either wind, tornadoes, hurricanes, whatever, cyclones, and floods. So one could say that South Africa is largely a wet and windy territory, and that's something to bear in mind when we get a bit further on in this presentation. So the start of the changing environment. The built environment has changed and its decay is evident, from stormwater drains, roads, bridges, poor town planning, etc., etc. What we will start to see, and it is evident starkly in the platteland areas, and I use that as a general observation because there are some little towns that have done exceptionally well, but as a general observation, we've seen a decline in local government, roads, stormwater drains, firefighting ability, they've got no money, etc., etc. To cap it all, we're not exactly in a growing and vibrant economy. So a stagnant and declining economy in some respects creates an ideal situation for an increase in crime. Commercial crime growing as people become more desperate. And we hold thumbs for our next rate increase and hope it doesn't happen. But if it does, it's just going to push people further into desperate times. Vehicle crime rates are soaring, especially hijacking, at a rate we haven't seen for probably 20 years. And then cybercrime is rampant and growing exponentially. Now, I know that we've achieved some World Cup specials. We're the current Rugby World Champions. And for those of you, the lesser known sport of sheep shearing, we beat the New Zealanders and we're also the World Sheep Shearing Champions. And unfortunately, on cybercrime, we're not yet global champions, but we are African champions. Not something to be that proud of, but another achievement. So what has the past 4 years taught us? So when we get COVID-19, we had this plethora of policies containing a contagious disease extension, and they've been on there for years. I remember as a young broker handling a contagious disease claim to do with foot and mouth disease. So it's not like it was something new. But over time, I think a lot of them were added without much thought or risk analysis of the impact on particular clients. And again, that's a general observation. And what became clear when all of this happened was there was uncertainty between all the role players as to exactly how all of this stuff worked. Unfortunately, most of it had to go to the court cases, which the insurers ultimately lost. It didn't do our industry that good from an image point of view, but I suppose it had to be done due to all the uncertainty. Then we looked at Sazria. Now, when I grew up and entered the industry, and Christel alluded to the fact that I've been here just before the Rinderpest, Sazria was something that every broker got taught, and you had to know it inside out and advise your clients. But then after 20 years of nothing happening, 25 years of nothing happening, most brokers didn't pay too much attention to the detail concerning extensions to cover. And what I've subsequently found out, engaged with different people, is the amount of business interruption cover on the KZN claims was very, very low. And that just points to the fact that probably not much discussion happened with those clients regarding BI, and the brokers were quite lucky to get away with no PI claims against them. Then we had the KZN floods. So what we found was risk mitigation was found wanting. We always had the fire and the theft surveys, but I didn't see any hydrological surveys being done, and I'm still not sure whether they are being done, but I'm sure that they will come into vogue in the coming years. And again, the business interruption structure, indemnity periods, accuracy of some insured problematic. And now that I've been exposed to the industry as a whole, small brokers, medium brokers, big brokers, I can categorically say that we all need to go for business interruption training, because the standard is, I don't want to use the word atrocious. Okay, the standard is not so good. So I think for us, our industry and our clients, we should engage in business interruption training. Public grid failure. Okay, so is there risk mitigation for public grid failure? Does it exist at government level? Unlikely. Although engaging with people who are on the inside, it would appear that the risk of total public grid failure is remote, but nevertheless still there. And that's something else that we need to cater for as intermediaries. So that's the past 4 years. What does the next 4 years teach us? And you will see something called tornadoes on the screen there, Caranbira, Mozambique, and then there was one, Freddie, which had a very long run. It sort of started in Australia, got to Mozambique, hit Mozambique, went off to Madagascar and came back and hit Mozambique again. And the bad news is we will have an increasing prevalence of tornadoes in eastern South Africa and cyclones off the east coast of Africa. And before you start saying, is this Olia trying to sell something here? No, I'm not. And in fact, historical records over 220 years shows that apart from flooding, tornadoes happen to be the second most prevalent catastrophe that's hit South Africa over the past 220 years. So what does this next 4 years teach us? South Africa emits the highest levels of carbon emissions in Africa, and climate change, often perceived and described by many simply as global warming, does have other ramifications. And so I think it's important to understand that whether we believe in climate change being caused by industrial aspects or climate change occurring due to nature, the fact is that climate change is happening and we can see it. I've lived in South Africa for 40 years, and I can promise you the summers are different to when I first came here from Zimbabwe as a youngster. So what else is going to change? Well, unfortunately, the decay in infrastructure compounds losses, and I don't see any sign of it improving. What I have noticed, speaking to different insurers over the past year or two, is an increasing incidence of fires as building maintenance standards decline. And that's worrying because I think when we go into the future, it means that we will have to take that into account as intermediaries when advising clients. So this was quite shocking. I didn't understand. The 40,000 fires reported in South Africa annually translate to roughly 4 billion in financial losses, and this figure continues to increase year on year. This is about 3 years old, this information. And daily, at least 30 fires are recorded in informal settlements, accounting for at least one person's death per day. And in the past couple of years, Charlotte Macheki Hospital, Parliament, it's cost the South African government directly about 10 billion. And as we know, Parliament still hasn't been fixed up. So we will see increasing incidents of fire due to lack of maintenance, decaying infrastructure. We'll have an increasing incidence of storms and severity. So what you might find is that even though it's dry and drought conditions, it will be interspersed by some violent storm activity, which can include hailstorms as well. And so I think from our point of view, what we need to do is to be aware of what's likely to happen. And then if national or natural events was not enough, cybercrime has taken on in a big way. So business tech reports impersonation fraud increased by 356% in South Africa just over 1 year. Estimated cyber losses in South Africa exceed 2 billion rand per annum. And yet, I can promise you the number of personal clients who buy cyber cover extremely low, and the number of clients who buy cybercrime insurance also extremely low, which means the intermediaries or the insurers dealing with these people are going to face a problem when these losses start to come home and clients start asking, well, did you actually tell me about this? So cyber losses are predicted to be the next global black swan event. And according to Cybersecurity Ventures, the cost of cybercrime is predicted to hit $8 trillion in this year, and it will grow to $10.5 trillion by 2025. I don't even want to translate trillion dollars in rand terms because we don't have enough time on this presentation. Then we got bulk phishing, smishing. Smishing is something I learned just the other day, and I had to Google it to find out what it is. It's basically those phony SMSs that you get telling you to pay the import duties on the parcel which you never ordered and provide your bank details. But these are the most common types of cybercrime that are coming. In 2022, 85% of the surveyed worldwide organizations reported encountering bulk phishing attacks, while roughly 3 in 4 were targeted by smishing scams. Then we get to motor. You might think, well, how can motor be a catastrophe? Well, if you look at the second and third pictures, it'll give you some idea of that can be. So just cost of ownership of motor, quite interesting. It's gone up 14% since November 22. And over 5 years, the cost of car ownership has increased by a staggering 48% since pre-COVID 2019. And that's reflected again when we start looking at the cost of inflation in insurance. Another aspect which we tend to forget is that over about 20 years, our vehicle fleet on the road has more than doubled. And it's doubled at a time when our road infrastructure has declined. And so that to me is a lethal combination of a disaster waiting to happen. So if we look at what's happened there in terms of hijacking, I'm just quoting Santam there, it's 6.3 times more than 2022 than their 2019 figures. There's been a decline in public transport, and I'm not going to get into Transnet because it's been all over the news. Although I believe there was one record there, 37-kilometer long queue of trucks waiting to get to Durban Harbour, and that has knock-on effects on our economy. Wars, what will the next 4 years teach us? So the one on the left is Ukraine, and everyone seems to have forgotten about Ukraine because it's been overtaken by the terrible situation in Gaza, which is in the middle. And then on the right, we have the Taiwan-China standoff, which is threatening to take hold sometime in the next year or 2 years, if you believe social media. War and conflicts can impact replacement of key plant and equipment. They can also impact the indemnity period. We've seen with the Ukraine suspension of cover on marine imports, etc., etc. So in summary, how has potential catastrophes impacted an intermediary in the advice? Okay, so what I believe in is you have to anticipate catastrophes when rendering advice. The days of just giving advice on the sort of smaller occurrences that could happen is gone. And why I mentioned that the level of the reasonable broker has been lifted is because we've had 4 years of catastrophes. So you can't get away from the fact that catastrophes on everyone's mind, and therefore, when you're rendering advice and selling product, you must take it into account. You also need to do the what ifs prior to a loss occurring. So one of the things that I've seen is that we sell product and then sit back and we wait for the loss to happen. Then everyone scurries around to see how the product will actually respond. And I know that costs are tough, but my belief is that, especially on some bigger covers, that we need to do the practicing of exactly how the policy will respond, what the timeframes are, what the questions will be asked, in order to provide a top quality service when the catastrophe actually happens. So if you've not figured it out by now, insurance claims are about the future. Maybe today, tomorrow, next year, but they do happen. And as we've seen from the previous 3 catastrophes, the policy wordings on the basis of the insurance contract should be concise, clear, and have a calculable outcome. And of course, it is clever to be in hindsight, because we've learned all these lessons. But I still would like to see intermediaries in particular, even working with insurers, simulating large catastrophe claims before they actually happen, so that we can refine the delivery to the customer at the end of the day. Insurance is a detailed game. Risk identification, evaluation, part of the game. We need to know what we know already to plan for events which may or may not happen, and we need to practice how everything will work before it happens. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. We really, here at InsureTalk, appreciate the fact that you always make your time available to grow the knowledge of our industry together. The brokers are so important in our lives. We know that you do a lot of work in the intermediary space, but being here this morning to share that with us is greatly appreciated. And yes, the catastrophes. I'm worried about the increase in frequency of catastrophes and our ability to handle what is coming our way. We are facing a very hot summer. I don't know if you've read in the media, but predicting to be the hottest summer on record, and especially in the Cape with fire season, we are worried. So thank you for that very insightful talk as always, and we hope to have you back on InsureTalk again next year. Now, every month we have a regular insert from Thokozile Mahlangu. Thokozile is the CEO of the Insurance Institute of South Africa, and she gives us an update on what the IISA is busy with, and in general what's happening in the industry. So we've got Thokozile up next. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This being the last InsureTalk for 2023, I thought let me reflect on what IISA has achieved this year. I'll kick off by highlighting that we got rated as a level 1 BBBE organization, and that's a huge milestone for us. I've had many people asking, how did you do it? And it's just being intentional about transformation. We have embedded transformation into our everyday business operations. We are intentional from a skills development perspective, both internally and externally. We are also focused on being socially relevant. There's a school we've adopted in Nelspruit, and we provide the school with study material. Those study materials enable the teachers to teach better and enable the learners to consume the content better. And that's just one of the things we do. We also have a focused approach on preferential procurement. So we are intentional about utilizing Black-owned service providers and Black female-owned service providers, as well as service providers that have at least a level 3 rating. We also have a focused approach on supplier development. There are suppliers that we have adopted and provided office space, and we're also providing development, enabling them to grow their businesses. We also have a focused approach on enterprise development. We started this in 2019, where we developed a broker development program. We give brokers, Black SMME brokers, an opportunity to attend conference, either virtually or in person, but over and above that, we also provide development training on particular areas that enable brokers to operate effectively and differently, particularly in the digital environment. So that's just to highlight one or two things that has enabled us to achieve the level 1 rating, and we are focused on retaining it. What we have done this year is to introduce a work readiness program where we've adopted a couple of learners that are going through an NQF level 5 qualification, which is blended, not just the theory, it's blended with theory and practical training. These are young, bright minds that at the end of the 12 months period, they would be employable, they will be market ready with theory and experience. We also have introduced a learnership program. We've got 5 learners at the office that we are exposing to different areas of what we do as a professional body, and we will be reaching out to some of our corporate partners so they can get an exposure into an insurance company or a broking company. So that's what we have done, honestly, just being intentional about embedding transformation in the business. We also got our SAQA license renewed. As you are aware, SAQA is a South African Qualifications Authority, and for us to be able to retain our license, we go through a rigorous process every 5 years so that we get the SAQA license. So at the end of each 5 years, you basically start the process all over again, and you got to prove yourself to SAQA that you are still in good standing as an organization, both from a governance, financial, operational, human resource. And we've gone through that process, and we are pleased to share with the industry that we have the SAQA license renewed for the next 5 years. So that's another huge achievement for us. Another one has been the membership drive that we've been on. As at the end of October, we actually have accredited almost 800 new members. Now that is huge. In the history of ISA, that has not happened. So it's a huge milestone for us, and we are happy, and we want to say a big thank you to our corporate partners that opened doors for us to be able to do the member activation on site and be able to onboard professionals and convert them into accredited professionals. And as I've always said many times, that being an accredited professional sets you apart. It puts you in good standing. It denotes your level of expertise and knowledge in the industry. So if you have not become a member yet, you've got an opportunity to still do so. There is no time limit in becoming a member. You can become a member at any point. So the application is open right through the year. So as it quietens down, perhaps this is an opportunity for you to reach out to the office and be accredited, become an accredited professional and set yourself apart. And being the end of the year, one of the benefits of members is lifestyle benefits. Members get discounted rates at Sun International Properties, and they also get discounted rates at Avis Budget. So being the holiday season, if you haven't booked your holiday, you've got an opportunity to do that. Reach out to the office and they'll guide you on how to do that. We also have opened the AIE 2024 registration. You record we had the super early bird. We then moved over to the early bird. The early bird is going to close soon. So may I remind you to register. We're going to close the early bird, I think, in the next 2 weeks or so. So you have an opportunity to still register and get on board. We are going to be showcasing the AIE 2024 theme in the next few weeks before we close registration. You do not want to miss what we have in store. We have gone through a long process of research, of consultation, and we've finally put together a theme that will really help us to reflect. As you remember, next year is the 50th conference. So the theme is going to help us reflect on where we come from as an industry, looking at where we at, how we have maneuvered through a number of challenges, and really how we're looking ahead and remaining relevant and taking the industry forward, taking the financial services sector forward, and really contribute meaningfully into the South African economy. I'm going to close off by saying, if you are traveling, travel safe, enjoy time with family, look after yourselves, relax, take time just to relax. Park, do you the best way you know how, but relax, look after yourself so that you can come back in the new year rejuvenated and ready to take the industry forward. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Madam CEO, my favorite Madam CEO in the industry, we appreciate your insert. We appreciate the fact that you make time every month to give us that update. And we also appreciate the support from the IISA as our CPD partner here at InsureTalk. We are seeing the registrations going up quite dramatically. Please register for next year's events. We want to give away that golden ticket, the 1,000th registration. I'm not going to get through this event without getting that word right. We'll get a golden ticket to attend any one of our live events next year. So please go onto the link and register for the February, March events. You can do for the whole year as well. I think, if I'm correct, it's open all of them. So please support us and join us in this virtual roundtable with a few in-person events coming up next year as well. This conference that we host every month is only possible because we have sponsors, because we provide it to you free of charge. We have got the most incredible speaker lineup. If you look at the quality and profile of people that we get to talk on this conference, it takes a lot of work and effort to secure these individuals and to make sure that they are also themselves comfortable and prepared to do this. It is, if I tell you, okay, so I've done about 15 of hosting this event now. It is so intimidating and it is so much work because you talk to potentially 4,000 people at once. So for the speakers who come onto our conference each month, they prepare, they have to make time available, they have to deal with the nerves and the possible technical glitches, and we appreciate them for doing it, but we also appreciate our sponsors, because we can't do it without the sponsors. And next up is our media partner, which is FA News. Rianette comes onto the show every month, and she tells us about what's happening in the industry, all the most relevant news topics, and she does a superb job, because she does she's almost like our chat GPT for media news in the insurance industry in South Africa. So Rianette's going to update us. She is the owner of FA News, and she is the mother of the Insurance Apprentice, which is kicking off for the 2024 season very soon. I'm sure she'll tell us about that as well. Thank you, Rianette.
Good morning from my side for the last InsureTalk of 2023. Once again, an honor and a privilege to talk to all of you. November is manic. I think it's for every single person online, manic. But now let's focus on the year that was, maybe the month that was, and also what lies ahead for 2024. The FA News November magazine has gone live last week. This was our last edition for the year, and we've got quite a few strong articles, of which I want to mention one or two specific articles. Gareth Stokes, FA News journalist, wrote an article titled Brokers at Risk. And the article addresses the ever-growing list of non-life insurance exclusions and the treatment of these exclusions by insurers, which could introduce significant risks to brokers plying their trade in the commercial market. A suggestion that all of you brokers and insurers read this one. Myra, also another FA News journalist, wrote an article titled Reflecting on 2023. Myra spoke to Ricardo Kutsia from Auto & General and Saul Abram of Old Mutual Insure about the positives and the negatives and the challenges we faced as an industry this year. Lessons were learned, no doubt, which means we can only do things better next year. I think that was quite strong in this edition was the treatment of clients and how important everything we do is for the total experience we give our clients, ranging from ethics, the right people to do the job, and the claims experience from start to finish. Important to remind you that we've got 12 CPD articles in each edition, of which 6 is short-term, non-life focused, and our system is free. You can download or read the FA News in print or online, and our system is extremely user-friendly. It's a fantastic to bump into industry colleagues, and part of the conversation always revolves around FA News being a lifesaver when it comes to people's CPD journeys. We get incredible feedback about the high standard of our content. So this is really about learning something, which is ultimately the purpose of CPD. We have over 30,000 people registered on our CPD system, which is a testament to the product we put out and the service we deliver. Also happy to mention that we did a profile on the liability company, aka Simon Coleman, where he talks about the company and his journey. I've also done an interview with Simon, so feel free to listen to it. Like all my other interviews, it's on FA News YouTube and on the FA News website, and also, of course, on our social pages. The FA News cover page for November is the short-term insurance team from Hollard Insure. I think it looks stunning. And we think that the cover is maybe not something people always look at, but we are so proud of these covers we do every month. Linked to the cover, inside we've got a chat with Koenraad de Bruin, who heads up specialist insurance at Hollard, about their offering and, of course, the Hollard passion that goes with that offering. I would also like to quickly mention Standard Bank Insurance, who's got a real presence in this edition too, so make sure you have a look at that. So what's happening in terms of events? The IIG annual dinner took place 2 weeks ago, and what an amazing event again. If networking is your thing, this is one you cannot miss ever. What was great is the fact that the sound levels of the music were really manageable, so we could actually have conversations and do what many of us were there to do, network. So well done to the IIG for being music sound levels aware. The GWII year-end event is tonight with a Bollywood theme, but unfortunately that one is fully booked, so maybe a good time to remind all the ladies who stays in Gauteng, specifically in the Joburg regions, to join GWII or to renew your memberships. It's a fantastic platform for women to connect and grow on a whole lot of different levels. And now I think obviously in terms of busyness, it's year-end breakfasts, lunches, dinners, well deserved, because it was another hectic year for all of us. I obviously have to mention the Insurance Apprentice 2024, year 10. It's now in full swing. We have our top 10 elimination round next week, where some of us will know who the top 10 for the season is, but you, my dear industry friends and colleagues, you will only find out when we start airing episodes late Feb, early March next year. I still do have a few sponsorship options available, especially in terms of prizes, as well as the celebratory of our 10 years at the finale. So if anyone is keen and want to know more, please feel free to reach out to me. I choose to be positive about 2024. As a country and as an industry, we've been through a lot, but we are resilient and we choose to keep our heads high. We make a difference. We are a big force in this economy, and we just have to keep innovating and keep educating. A reminder that all events can be listed on the calendar.org.za at no cost. FA-News will be closing on 14 December and reopen on 9 January, ready for another year to serve this industry. Thank you for listening to me and enjoy the rest of your session. This is Rianette Whitehead, FA-News editor and the Insurance Apprentice founder, signing off.
Thank you, Rianette. Also very pleased that that's the last time we're going to hear you speak this year. You've been a wonderful addition to our lineup here, so we appreciate you and everything that you do in your research and contribution that you make to the show. One of the most endearing things about InsureTalk is this supporting of artists that started during the dark days of COVID. And every month we have an artist that performs something wonderful on the show. So it's also your time to go and get a cup of tea and a glass of water, because it means we're nearing the end of this wonderful show today. So I'm going to introduce you shortly to our next artist, who's going to entertain us for a couple of minutes. Kwandia Avril McKenzie is a dynamic artist whose creative talents span a rich tapestry of artistic disciplines. She started at the musical theatre. Her career has blossomed across a remarkable 17-year journey, leaving a mark on international and national stages. From her earliest days, she was discovered and nurtured by the late Anne Smith, a renowned international agent. Kwandia has forged a unique path into the world of Afro art rock and challenging traditional music classifications. She has got an incredible list of achievements. I'm not going to go through all of them. I want to just mention one or two. Global recognition came in the form of a $10,000 New York Film Academy Scholarship in 2020, and that was followed by a $15,000 AMDA scholarship, cementing her position as a standout South African musical theatre performer. We are proud of our talent and we are loving sharing this with you this morning.
Hello everybody, my name is Gonde Evelyn Mkansi. I am 27 years old and I'm based in Stellenbosch in the Western Cape province. I am going to perform here at the InsureTalk. Please sit back, relax and enjoy the show. Romance doesn't exist. It's a hoax to trick your mind into thinking perfection exists or absence of suffering. Stop leading girls to the clouds above. It's so distracting. They can't focus on self-love. Morality doesn't exist. It's a construct we breed into children who see. We create our paradigms, we create all our lives. Ancient psychology evolving by ologies in this moment. I want to know you like I know myself, but it will be just as confusing in hell. I'm imagining a different history. When men and women stay equal to the eyes of society. When we don't condemn different people for exercising their freedom. When sex stays sacred as an act of divine love and not perverted into violence and lust. When we all honor our mothers in all of their burgeoning light. When we do not rape our sisters or kill our brothers and enslave any life. I want to know you like I know myself, but this would be just as confusing in hell. I'm imagining a different history. Thank you. The world was on fire, no one could save me but you. It's strange what desire will make foolish people do. I'll never dream that I'd meet somebody like you. I'll never dream that I'd meet somebody like you. No, I don't wanna fall in love. No, I don't wanna fall in love with you. What wicked game you play that makes me feel this way? What a wicked thing to do, to make me dream of you. What a wicked thing to say, you never felt this way. What a wicked thing to do, to make me dream of you now. Don't wanna fall in love now. Don't wanna fall in love now. I don't wanna fall in love now. I don't wanna fall in love with you, with you. The world was on fire. Oh, the world was on fire. Nobody loves no one. Thank you very much. I saw you walking down the road. Love is red in the way you dress your clothes. Sun rays on your skin so beautiful. One glance and I couldn't let you go. I saw you walking down the road. Love your sweat and the way you dress your clothes. Sun rays on your skin so beautiful. One glance and I couldn't let you go. There is no shame in loving someone so beautiful. Oh, you're beautiful. There is no way I'll let you go on by without putting a smile on my face. Hey, pretty boy, just open your heart and open your world and let me be yours and take my hand and never let me go. I'll be your pleasure and joy. Hey, little girl, open your heart and open your world and let me be yours and take my hand and never let me go. Just make me feel like a woman. Yeah, and make me feel like a woman. Yeah. I saw you walking down the road. Love your sweat and the way you dress your clothes. Sun rays on your skin so beautiful. One glance and I couldn't let you go. I saw you walking down the road. Love your sweat and the way you dress your clothes. Sun rays on your skin so beautiful. One glance and I couldn't let you go.
Thank you very much. I am Konde Evomkansi. I really did enjoy that. I hope you guys also enjoyed it. Please, you can follow me on my social media. On Instagram, I am Avril October Sky. Avril October Sky. And you can also add me on Facebook. I go by the name Konde Evomkansi. And I'm recently new on TikTok. You can also follow me on purple_October Sky. Thank you very much.
That was absolutely lovely. We saw such activity in the chat, everyone enjoying the special performance we had from Kwandia this morning. So I also really enjoyed that. We are in the final hour of the event today. And next up is another friend of the show. We have today SSP Worldwide as an event partner. And SSP Worldwide is an insurance software technology business, and they provide software solutions around the world to insurers, brokers, UMAs, the whole spectrum of the industry. And we're very fortunate to have Marcia Leroux back. I worked with Marcia a few years ago. We had great fun at a big international organization. And she's going to talk to us on the topic of navigating the delicate balance, a holiday reflection for insurers and brokers. I want to tell you a little bit about Marcia, that you've got a bit of a background on who she is. She's the African Business Development Manager for SSP. She's an accomplished professional who embarked on her career in the medical and insurance industries in the early 2000s. She's got a rich background in sales and marketing, and she's held various executive roles within national and international corporates. Marcia possesses a diverse set of skills and extensive experience in customer care, sales, relationship management, skills development, people development, client retention, strategic planning, and coaching. She holds a BA degree in communications, and she's also a certified life and business coach. And as I said, this interesting topic of navigating the delicate balance. Marcia, we look forward to your insert this morning.
Thank you, Christelle, and a very warm welcome to all of you joining us today. Just going to get my sheet. There we go. All right, so I really thought, because of this being the last conference that we have with InsureTalk, to really look at a very big aspect that most of us are dealing with at the moment, and that is navigating the delicate balance of time. And as the festive season and a well-deserved break approach, I thought it well to address the art of this balancing act, a delicate task we all seem to grapple with, feeling the constraints of time in our daily lives. And as we unite in our shared dedication to the happiness and contentment of our policyholders, it becomes crucial to take a moment and reflect on our own well-being as insurers and brokers. So with the holiday season around the corner, a time linked with joy and connection, it prompts us to stand at a crossroads where our professional commitment meets our personal desire for rejuvenation. So the insurance industry, in its tireless commitment to securing the safety net for our clients, faces a unique challenge during this season. A rush to finalize corporate commitments and ensure the readiness of policies to provide the safety net our clients deserve during their well-earned holidays. Yet, in the hustle and urgency of these professional responsibilities, we cannot overlook our own need for a moment to respite. The ticking clock reminds us of the delicate balance we must strive between our duty to our clients and our heartfelt yearning for a bit more time, a bit more space, to relish the things that truly matter in our private lives. So today, let's embark on a journey together to navigate this delicate equilibrium. How can we, as insurers and brokers, carve out that elusive time, not just to fulfill our professional obligations, but to be fully present for the moments that make this season magical? How can we, amid the industry's hustle, find the means to gift ourselves the luxury of time. Join me in exploring this quest for balance, seeking insights that not only enhance our professional efficiency, but also bestow upon us the moments we genuinely value in our personal lives. As we navigate this path, let us remember that the essence of insurance lies not only in providing a safety net for others, but also in crafting a balance that safeguards our professional commitments and enriches our personal lives. After all, isn't finding this equilibrium the best insurance policy we can offer ourselves this holiday season? So the insurance industry, where client services is paramount, incorporating software platforms can not only enhance efficiency for clients, but also create opportunities for insurers and brokers to reclaim the time for personal values. And William Penn's timeless insight resonates here the most to me, where he said, time is what we desire most, but often use least effectively. Thankfully, leveraging state-of-the-art software platforms enables us to refine our time management, carving out space for moments of true significance in life. In this exploration, we will delve into 5 strategies to enhance time efficiency, ultimately improving the quality of life and time we invest. So here are the software platforms that can facilitate this. Looking at these 5 aspects, some of you might already implemented them, but I think it's a good reflection in seeing how these can really, truly assist us. The first platform is the adoption of process automation in the dynamic landscape and stands as a transformative force in the insurance industry. This entails leveraging technology and software to automate repetitive, time-consuming and error-prone processes across crucial operations like underwriting, we know with claims processing, and then policy management. And by implementing cutting-edge software platforms, insurers can revolutionize their operational efficiency. This involves the automation of routine and time-consuming tasks such as paperwork, data entry, and administrative duties. The outcome is a significant reduction in time spent on operational tasks, allowing for the allocation of more time to personal pursuits. A pivotal facet of this transformation lies in the development and implementation of instant quoting tools, a very big thing that in our industry and experience is becoming pivotal, facilitated by software automation. These tools provide real-time quotes to customers, enhancing overall efficiency and elevating the customer experience. Insurers, by embracing software automation, can offer accurate, dynamic, and responsive quotes that cater to the demands of today's fast-paced digital landscape. The integration of software automation translates to a remarkable decrease in processing time by over 50%, leading to substantial cost savings as well. This efficiency not only addresses the increasing demands from policyholders, agents, and partners, but also facilitates transparent, multi-channel experiences. A notable trend in this paradigm shift is the rising use of business process automation. This involves employing software to automate diverse business processes, including document management, claims processing, and underwriting. BPA emerges as a strategic tool that significantly reduces manual labor and time. It minimizes errors and accelerates processing times and fosters greater scalability and flexibility in insurance operations. In essence, the thought leadership in adopting process automation positions the insurance industry at the forefront of innovation. This paradigm shift not only enhances operational efficiency, but also sets the stage for a future where insurers can seamlessly navigate the challenges of a rapidly evolving digital landscape. And if we look at some statistics that really supports this, in McKinsey's report, Digital Disruption in Insurance, it shows the potential for automation reduces the cost of the claims journey for insurers by a substantial 30%. This reduction in costs open up avenues for increased profitability. The report emphasized also that a large auto insurer, through the strategic utilization of digital tools, more than doubled profitability over 5 years. Furthermore, the study highlights the efficiency gained through automation, revealing that it saves an impressive 43% of time for insurance employees. So definitely giving them also a good work-life balance. And lastly, in an EY report, my apologies, recognized the pivotal role of claims experiences in customer loyalty and emphasized that 87% of customers affirmed that their claims experiences significantly influence their decision to remain with the insurer. So by looking at these stats, it is clear that investing in automated claims solutions serves a solution not only as a means to retain existing customers, but also as a potential strategy to attract dissatisfied customers seeking the seamless and exciting experience of automated claims processing. In essence, the landscape of insurance claims is evolving with a clear trend toward automation. More insurers are actively seeking intelligent technology solutions to digitize their claims processing, enhance productivity, and ultimately maximizing their portfolio profitability. This shift towards automation not only streamlines processes, but also positions insurers at the forefront of a digital transformation that promises increased efficiency, customer satisfaction, and financial gains. The second platform, centralized data management, is utilizes software with a centralized data management capability. This not only improves efficiency in retrieving information, but also eliminates the need to spend excessive time searching for and organizing data across various sources. And this is one area of big concern in our experience as well, to ensure that there's a central data aspect to also enhance the client services. So improve your data quality by centralizing your data. This ensures the data is accurate, consistent, and reliable. When data is stored in multiple locations, it can easily become corrupt or outdated without even knowing sometimes about that. However, when your data is in one location, you can quickly identify any errors or inconsistencies in the data. Also, the process allows you to control quality of data and ensure its accuracy. Data centralization helps you ensure that your data is up to date and can be used for analysis and decision-making in future. It also increases efficiency. Data centralization eliminates manual processes, reduces risks of human error, and automates your data entry. This can help to speed up the process of entering, editing, and processing data. Plus, it also helps save time that would otherwise be spent searching for data scattered across multiple locations. Improved efficiency can also translate to decreased costs, allowing businesses to focus on more important things. Another efficiency is enhanced security. Businesses not only have to store their data, but also their customers' personal data. Centralized data ensures that all this information is secure and protected. It also helps to ensure that only authorized personnel have access to your business's sensitive data. When your data is stored in one place, it's easier to secure. Centralized data also gives the enablement for you to control access to your data and set up automated security measures, such as encryption and authentication. This ensures that all your business information remains safe and secure. As per the Journal of Finance and Data Sciences, the adoption of big data translates to cost savings ranging from 40 to 70%, which is quite significant, with a 30% enhancement in accessibility to insurance packages and a significant 60% improvement in fraud detection, which we discussed earlier. The implementation of big data also yields a 30% improvement in access to insurance services. So these statistics really show and stands to show how important these centralized data management systems can be for your organization. A third solution to optimize time and enhancing this for your client interactions is by adopting customer relationship management solutions. A well-integrated CRM system not only improves client service, but also allows for more streamlined communication, saving time for both client-related activities and personal priorities. As insurance CRM software automates and simplifies the entire insurance workflow, it eliminates data entry and the need to carry physical case folders, letting insurance agents use their time more effectively. This centralization streamlines data access and eliminates the need for manual searching across multiple platforms, saving time for insurance professionals. Insurance CRMs also help insurance agencies automate and assign tasks to the right people, organize their leads and claims, and manage multiple policies in a single system. Workflow automation within CRM systems enables the automation of routine tasks, such as policy renewals, document generation, and follow-ups. This automation reduces manual intervention, allowing insurance professionals to focus on more complex and strategic aspects of their roles. CRM platforms often come with communication tools that enable seamless communication within the team and with your clients. This reduces the time spent on email correspondence and ensures that information is readily accessible to all relevant parties. And as per Finance Online Survey, the adoption of a CRM system can result in an impressive 87% increase in sales effectiveness for insurers. Organizations leveraging a mobile CRM achieve a noteworthy 74% improvement in customer satisfaction and an impressive 73% enhancement in overall business efficiency. Fourthly, a task management system tailored for the insurance sector streamlines workflows by consolidating tasks, assignments, and deadlines into a centralized platform. This optimization enhances efficiency by presenting a clear overview of ongoing tasks, promoting organizational coherence, and directing teams towards prioritized goals. Task management systems also introduce accountability by assigning tasks to specific individuals or teams, fostering transparency that minimizes the risk of tasks being overlooked. Moreover, these systems often incorporate collaboration features, promoting communication and teamwork among insurance professionals and with their clients. Throughout automated reminders, deadlines, and progress tracking, task management systems ensure the timely completion of tasks. This in turn minimizes delays in crucial processes like policy renewals or claims processing, contributing to the heightened operational effectiveness in the insurance industry. And if we look at statistics around this, we can see that according to McKinsey's report, building a culture of continuous improvement in insurance, by utilizing innovative team designs and refined processes, Customer wait times were reduced by over 25%, while productivity saw a notable increase of 5 to 10%. McKinsey identifies that enduring an effective capacity expansion arises not solely from rapid costs or performance initiatives or process redesign, but from a cultural foundation that continually assesses client values, institutional value delivery, and necessary changes for cohesion. Now, companies that embrace this culture experienced a 20 to 30% efficiency boost in the initial 2 to 3 years, with continued annual improvements over 3 to 5% thereafter. Changes in task management processes lead to a 45% reduction in completion time for new customer applications by addressing incomplete submissions. And then last but not least is the solution of mobile applications. These applications offer the flexibility to manage work tasks while on the move, fostering a healthier work-life balance and providing more time for personal pursuits. Very important. In the insurance industry, mobile applications empower policyholders by offering convenient access to policies, claims, and account information at any time and anywhere. This facilitates increased engagement, allowing customers to effortlessly handle coverage management, receive notifications, and submit claims directly through the app. Real-time interaction contributes to heightened customer satisfaction and loyalty. These applications streamline various insurance processes too, including policy quoting, underwriting, and claims processing. Mobile technology enables insurers to automate tasks, reduce paperwork, and manual efforts. This not only boosts operational efficiency, but also expedites response times, leading to swift policy issues and claims settlements. Insurers benefit from valuable data and insights into customer behaviors, preferences that they have, and interactions through their mobile applications. Analyzing this data provides also a profound understanding of the customer base, enabling personalized offerings and targeted marketing strategies. Additionally, data-driven insights inform decision-making, empowering insurers to optimize services and products based on customer trends and feedback. And looking at these statistics, it is very clear that this is the trend and the way to go, where 90% of the time spent on mobile devices is spent on specific apps that these customers and consumers downloaded. So just imagine if you can have that conversation with them, notifying of any time through your app where they can have a look at it. And 40% of South African customers already use these mobile phones for the initial process of browsing and identifying policies and insurers. And 50% of smartphone users check their apps 1 to 10 times in a day, which is quite significant, knowing that whenever and wherever they are, they will be able to make sure that their risk is handled and they can focus on the things that matters to them. So in summary, by strategically integrating these 5 software solutions into your workflow, you can enhance operational efficiency, streamline tasks, and ultimately gain more time for personal values. This not only benefits your well-being, but also contributes to a more sustainable and fulfilling work-life balance. As we conclude our reflections on this unique connection of professional duty and personal joy, I'm reminded of the profound importance of balance in our lives, especially during this festive season. The quest for that elusive time is not just a pursuit of efficiency, but a delicate choice and a deliberate choice to safeguard what matters most to us. In the dynamic realm of the insurance industry, where safeguarding others is our mission, let us not forget to extend that same commitment to ourselves. Just as we diligently finalize corporate commitments and policies to secure the well-being of our clients, let us also craft an insurance policy for our own lives, one that ensures the precious moments, the laughter and the warmth of the holiday season, and that it's safeguarded against the hustle and bustle. May the upcoming holiday season be a celebration not only for professional achievements, but also a testament to your commitment to creating a life that's well-balanced and rich in the moments that truly matter. I wish you all a season filled with warmth, laughter, and the embrace of loved ones. Here is to finding that perfect balance and savoring the beauty of both our professional and personal worlds. I know that was quite a lot in a short period of time. I have put my QR code on the screen. If there's anything more that you would like to ask me, I know it's not always easy to get all those questions answered, but always welcome to be there to navigate, to assist, or even give some thought leadership on these things that are waiting for us in 2024. But hopefully we have achieved quite a few of them already in 2023.
Thank you, Marcia. I love how you took us through a very complex topic and rounded it off with this beautiful message about finding balance in life. I know that you are very focused on doing that with your husband and your beautiful boy, so we wish you the same. Some wonderful time just to focus on that balance with family. And again, thank you for joining us here this morning. Now we're on to the last slot. We are very honored to have the likes of Swiss Re, one of the biggest reinsurers in the world, make their very, very competent people available to talk to us on an interesting topic this morning. It's the last slot of the day. We're going to have 3 speakers in one slot. We've got Hayley Shull, Regional Manager for PNC Southern Africa, Priyen Mehta, Head of PNC Sub-Saharan Africa, and Ishmael Adams, Regional Manager, PNC Southern Africa. So these are very senior individuals from Swiss Re talking to us this morning on the topic of the power to protect, grid failure through the lenses of risk transfer and mitigation. And we can't end this year without having our last insert on grid failure. I think that is a very good way to end the many conversations that we had during 2023. So I'm going to hand over to the team at Swiss Re now, and we look forward to an insightful talk from you.
There we go.
Thank you very much.
Is that me on? Am I on the line? Hello, everybody. Hayley here, and very nice to have an opportunity to speak to such a big audience today. So I'll get the conversation going and then I'll hand over to my colleagues. It was in about 2021 when Swiss Re were deliberating about the absolute and profound pain that the COVID losses had caused to our balance sheets, that we then started saying, what could be next? And it was clear that the what could be next was going to be a potential threat of a failure of the national grid. So you will know that the reinsurers were caught off guard by the COVID losses. We regarded it as a black swan event, and in the end, we really needed to take a little stand back and consider what we had missed. And it started piquing our attention towards what could the potential of a systemic loss be in South Africa, and once we determined the potential, what could the severity of that loss look like? And this is, this, as in COVID, the perfect storm is created or exacerbated when the policy wordings sell extensions without proper cognizance of their impact. So I'll just use COVID as an example. You know, when infectious disease wording was designed and incorporated into commercial policies and asset or risk policies, we were really thinking of something like salmonella in the kitchen. We were not thinking of a global lockdown called COVID-19 that would sideswipe us in terms of not having reserved or not having taken cognizance of the depth and breadth of that kind of wording. So that's when we started thinking about what would the threat of a new black swan look like. And the threat of that new black swan would be grid failure. And we didn't just arrive. You'll remember in 2021, during COVID-19, there was largely no load shedding at all. And the economic slowdown had prompted a smaller demand for electricity. But this ended in 2021 when the Matimba, Tutuka, Majuba, Kusile, Duva, Kriel, Kendall, and Medupi power stations all experienced breakdowns simultaneously. Ismail, are you moving those slides along?
Yes, I am, Haley. So you just tell me when to move to the next one. Yeah.
Okay. Must I tell you? Oh no, you can move to slide 3.
Ishmael, there's a comment on the chat to say that they don't see anything. Would you like to just put it on full screen mode and try to go to slide 3, please?
Priyan, do you want to give me the heads up to carry on?
Yeah, I think just 10 seconds, I think Ishmael is just going to re-share.
Sorry, everybody. We usually have load shedding interruptions. This is technical hitch interruption. Okay, are we good?
Hi, Haley. We're just
Hi.
waiting for it to jump back on to share the slide, and then you can continue.
All right.
Sorry, he dropped off probably because of load shedding.
Did I drop off? Or Ismail drop off?
Ismail, yes.
Oh, Ismail dropped off because of load shedding. All right. There we go.
Apologies, everyone.
If you could go to slide 3, Ismail. One up, not that one. That one. Okay, thank you. Sorry. So we had the breakdown of all these power stations, 7 or 8 of them simultaneously. And that is when they implemented level 2 load shedding, and within a couple of months we were at level 4. And the threat was as much as the fragility of the grid as it was the fragility of the wording. So it wasn't one threat, it was a double whammy, if you like. We had wordings and extensions that had been issued by the South African industry that had not considered the severity of a loss given a national grid failure, as opposed to something very local. So what was the status quo in the market at that time? The status quo in the market at that point was non-physical damage, BI and CBI were complete commonplace. Extensions for public utility failure were a glaring concern. There were either no sublimits or few sublimits in place. And then the exposure of these extensions had never been quantified. So it was very, very clear to us that understanding the grid would become paramount and understanding the coverage in underlying policies were paramount too. We needed to urgently address the status of the market. Ishmael, next slide, please. So we then had to start engaging with the industry and with the experts. So first we engaged Prien and Carly Jacobs, our CEO, engaged with the with industry experts around the construction of the grid. What did it look like? How was it? What was the makeup? What was the probability of failure? If there was the probability, how quickly could it come back up? Then we had to go and look at what were the implications of that fragile grid. So what could the scenarios look like? And what could those scenarios cost? And so we then attempted very early in this whole grid failure project to quantify the insurable loss. And at this point, I am going to hand over to Prien, who will share some of those findings with you. Thanks, Prien. Over to you.
Thank you. So as Haley mentioned, Swiss-Re endeavored to actually understand the exposure more than anything else. I think when you discuss black swan events, the first port of call is to actually understand what are we trying to cover and what are we not trying to cover. We then try to understand what the potential financial exposure is. And ultimately, our aim is to understand whether this is a risk that could be viably carried by the insurance and reinsurance industry, or that it could be something that effectively hamper the capital position of our industry and effectively led to insolvency type scenarios.
Sorry, Prien, can I interrupt you? The sound is extremely bad. You're fading in and out.
Just 1 second then, please.
Maybe your headphones, the ones, there we go. Maybe that will work a little better.
Is this better?
I think that will be better. Thank you.
Apologies. So maybe I can just restart. My opening comments was our aim was really to try to understand whether the black swan event would be a capital or solvency issue for the South African market in general. So we look at the South African insurance balance sheets as well as the reinsurance balance sheets to understand whether this is going to be an event that could effectively cause the industry to become unsustainable. So the first port of call was really to understand Eskom's power grid and to understand exactly where we as South Africa are. So the first thing to understand is that our South African power grid was only developed and maintained up till the 1960s and 70s. We have not had any significant investment nor infrastructure upgrades post this time frame. And part of the reason was that in that time we had the old Bantu Land and Group Areas Act, which effectively meant that power was only meant for the cities and industrialized areas. And post 1994, we went through a process of electrification where we looked to actually electrify the entire country. Now, unfortunately, our grid was not built or was not able to sustain that electrification process without serious and sincere investment into the generating capacity of the grid. And unfortunately, that investment did not happen at the same time as the electrification. So clearly there has been...
Sorry, Prien, the sound is really bad again. And people feel this is a very important presentation and they want to hear every word. Are you able to maybe switch your Wi-Fi link, or is there anything that you can do to improve the sound?
Prien, can we perhaps check if you can disconnect your headphones and just try your laptop mic, if that could work?
Sure.
Might just have to go to the mic setting on the Zoom ribbon and just click upwards, and then just make sure that your laptop mic is selected under microphone.
I have it now. Is that fine for you?
It's worse. It's worse. Karen Janssen van Rensburg says, "Oh, this is horrible." Anita thinks it's the effect of load shedding. Now you're on mute. Sorry, everybody.
Please let me know if you can hear this.
No, it's still as bad as before.
And now?
You'll have to say more than 3 words. Say a whole sentence.
Hi, let me make a suggestion if I could. It's Christelle
Yes,
here. Why don't we
please.
jump to the third person in the presentation, and then we give our current speaker an opportunity to sort out his technical difficulties. Will that work?
Not really, Christelle, because the information flows logically. So if we jump to Ismail, that means we wouldn't have gone through the information that Priya needs to share. And Ismail, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay, Priyan, try again.
Okay, we have to sort out the technical issues here because I agree the conversation is too important for us not to hear it properly. I'm trying to understand what he's saying and I can't hear every word because it's such an important conversation in the South African insurance landscape at the moment. So we thought we'll just take a few minutes and I can maybe just talk a little bit about the importance of registering for the InsureTalk conferences next year. Maybe while we're in this lag, go online and register so that we know we've got your attention for next year. You know why this is such an important conference to attend? InsureTalk has, without a doubt, the biggest reach as far as CPD points. If you attend the conference every month, you don't have to do one other thing. It all happens automatically. You go onto the InsureTalk portal and you get your CPD certificate there. Now, on this point, because I host the conference, I get all the questions and the emails and the LinkedIn messages. Where is my CPD certificate for InsureTalk? If you are registering as a team, and you sit in your conference room at the office and the whole team attends InsureTalk at the same time, we will only know about the one person that is registered, so the rest of the team won't get their certificates. So it's really important that if you attend as part of a group, that you register as individuals. And then we can make sure we've got all your information on the portal and automatically generate the CPD certificates. It's all in one place. When it comes for the time for the deadline, you just generate and submit your and make sure that you've got all your points in place, and you know you've got your compliance all sorted. So I'm just hearing from the producers: are we good to go? Or are we still sorting out the technical problems?
Please let me know if you can hear me.
We're going to try again. So back to the Swiss Re team on this important topic.
Apologies, everybody. Please let me know if you can hear me now.
Yeah, I mean, we could hear you a little bit more clearly, Priyan, so I think continue.
Apologies, everybody. I really sincere apologies. We did do an IT test, so I don't know why this is happening, but we can blame ESCOM if that suits everybody. I'll go quickly through this because I think it is important. Very, very quickly, just to understand, as I mentioned, we do have historical issues why our grid is fragile. We have a situation where the electrification of the country has led to increased demand of power where the supply has not been as stable in all areas of our country as it should be. So Ishmael, if you can go a little bit forward, please. I think it's very important that everyone understands that the first thing, and it sounds contradictory, but ESCOM is actually doing an excellent job in maintaining our grid and maintaining the fact that we do not have grid failure right now. And the way they are able to do this is via the system of load shedding. So load shedding is the deliberate scheduling of rolling blackouts throughout the country in order to maintain the ratio between the supply of electricity and the demand that the country is trying to pull. Now, the grid works on a frequency. A 50 hertz frequency means that the grid is stable, whereas if the frequency drops below 47.5, will lead to grid failure. And if the hertz go above 52.5, again, it's grid failure, but from an oversupply of electricity rather than an undersupply of electricity. So currently what happens is, as the frequency of the grid reduces, ESCOM load sheds in order to try to bring a balance to the frequency to hover closer to 50 hertz. Every stage of load shedding is equivalent to 1 gigawatt of power. The country keeps 2 gigawatts of power in reserve at any one time. And so if we are actually at stage 2 load shedding, the country actually has enough power to satisfy the demand of the entire country. However, ESCOM is keeping those 2 gigawatts of power in reserve. If we are at load shedding stage 1, it means that we actually have 1 in reserve. And if we're at load shedding stage 3, it means that we actually have a deficit of power of 1 gigawatt. Ishmael, can you go on? So currently it's the system operator at ESCOM that is doing the balance between the balance of load shedding, and currently they're operating at a really high efficiency. We've had situations where load shedding is either less than advertised or suspended at the last moment as they balance the emergency electricity needs of the country. We have, at this point in time, never had situations where we've advertised stage 2 or stage 3, but in reality, the system operator is load shedding at stage 4 to stage 6. Please go forward, Vishal. So,
Priyan?
do you want to take it forward?
Yeah, maybe I should take over just because your sound is exceptionally bad. So if you keep your head perfectly still, we can hear you. But the minute you move your head, you're lost. So maybe I should just take over and do the next few slides. So when it comes to so we consulted with the experts. We started to understand how load shedding really is the key to avoid a complete blackout. We understood that within the grid, there were 3 units that stored reserve capacity, and that, in fact, there was the ability to bring up the grid should it fail relatively quickly. So we also then said, well, what are the other remedies? So we know there's increasing generation capacity. Renewable energy is gaining momentum every day. You only have to go to your local mall to see the solar panels going up in parking lots. There's the work being done at the at Kuberg and renovations happening there, and then there's the hydro, not the hydro, yeah, the hydrogen production of hydrogen project that is happening, and all of these initiatives are in fact to remove weight off the grid. The question was, well, if we have these 3 black start stations, what then? So internationally, we only require 2 black start stations. We have a 3rd one. This stores the energy, those extra 2 gigawatts of energy that we require. And we were able to determine, well, what will a worst case scenario look like? The worst case scenario meant 5 hours of no electricity or of grid failure, and then to bring the grid back up. 3 days would be a probability, but these units are only able to come up between 5 days and 5 hours and 3 days, providing that they remain warm. if the power stations become completely cold, it could take 2 weeks for a startup. And so, and we also learned that this was further exacerbated because starting up isn't just switching on a light switch. It is an extremely delicate process that could come crashing down. So it's with all of this information and with an understanding of the wording, thanks Ismail, so with all of this information and the understanding of the vulnerability of the wording in the South African insurance policies, that we then started to saying, all right, what can we do? And remember, as reinsurers, our business is to protect capital. Our business is to protect the balance sheet. Insurers have to remain solvent. We have to protect against threats of insolvency. Insurance companies need to protect against the threat of an insolvency. The insurer buys reinsurance as a first step to protect against insolvency. One of our roles is to say, what could threaten that? And so when we looked at the likelihood of grid failure, we said, it seems a little low. It's not as big and as scary as we might have initially thought. But then when we look at the South African economy and when we read the comments made by the economists and the political analysts, they say that load shedding or grid failure is the highest risk, the highest ranked risk for businesses in South Africa. And so in that framework, we're forced to then consider grid failure as a likely option. So then we had to go back and say, all right, well, what would the cost of the grid failure be? Now, we had a few examples. There was a grid failure in Texas in 2021. There was a freeze in Texas, demand spiked, and the power operator deliberately brought the grid down, and that estimated cost was $195 billion US, and you can see in the notes on the screen, much higher than Hurricane Harvey. And then we had to say, what would a South African blackout look like? The number we came up with was about 40 billion USD. And this is clearly much bigger than anything our market can cope with. So let's have a look at the market for a minute. So the South African insurance market capital sits between 30 billion Rand and 40 billion Rand. Remember the slide, the last comment on the screen before? A South African blackout could cost approximately 40 billion US dollars. Then we've got to say, right, what is the Cat XL market? How much Cat XL catastrophe excess of loss cover does the market buy? Now, for those of you that aren't used to the jargon I'm using, a catastrophe excess of loss is a policy that says, all right, Mr. Insurance Company, you can aggregate all your losses from a single event within a predefined number of hours. And if you can do that, you are then able to determine how much cover you need to buy to protect against a loss. So if the entire market together is buying about 40 billion Rands worth of cover, then we need to say how much can we afford to pay? And the answer to how much we can afford to pay is that insurance capital. Remember, we've got 30 to 40 billion Rands worth of capital sitting in the insurance companies. Plus, they're buying 30 or 40 billion Rands worth of catastrophe excess of loss cover. That gives us 80 billion. Go back to the estimated 40 billion USD, and you can see that a grid failure would result in a complete insolvency of the South African insurance market. And just a little, Swiss Re as a company deploy about 700 billion US dollars, 700 million US dollars of cover in South Africa for our share. You would be able to tell that this would be catastrophic. And it is for this reason that we had to start driving a grid failure exclusion. Now, I'm going to pass along to Ismail in a minute, but I just want to just spend 2 minutes thinking about this. So now we determined that we do not have enough cat excessive loss cover in the country to cover this risk, i.e. reinsurance capacity was insufficient. We did not have enough capital in South Africa to cover this risk, so insurance capital was insufficient. We could not cover a systemic loss, could not cover a systemic loss. If the whole country went down, that's systemic. What did we think we were covering? When the wordings were scoped, we thought we were covering localized failure of electricity failure of one sort or another. And so it became very evident that we needed a grid failure exclusion. We then consulted with lawyers, as did the whole industry consult with lawyers. The industry, prompted by us, initiated the first round of grid failure exclusions. We reached a point where it became clear that the reinsurers needed to implement a grid failure exclusion in the treaty so that contractually there were no gaps. Because remember, we're protecting capital. We're protecting the ability of the insurance companies to pay for all your other losses, your fires, your motor accidents, storms, etc., etc. And so it was with this in mind that we then started scoping the grid failure exclusionary language. Ismail, over to you.
Thanks very much, Haley and Prien. And I am aware of the time, so I'll just go relatively quickly through the section which talks about what is Swiss Re's position and how do we go about handling this topic. So my colleagues, I think, laid the foundation really well in identifying grid failure and the electricity condition in South Africa as the source of the next big loss for reinsurers. And that's why it became important for Swiss Re to move and take a position in managing and quantifying and mitigating this exposure. And we've done so in the form of exclusionary language. And then the last point on the slide talks about the accumulation aspect and the accumulation potential of this particular loss event. Swiss Re, as an insurer, having paid massive cat claims in the past years, we have become more of a forward-looking reinsurer. We're looking at the risks going forward, and we've identified this particular topic as the next source of a potential cat claim. And we do not want to see a cat claim coming through with a code related to electricity grid failure. So we set ourselves on an exercise to determine what type of exposure are we willing to accept and what exposure do we need to exclude. And the feedback that we've received from the market is that we have taken the topic further than what it was intended to be taken on in the first place. So everybody thought about the state of the utility of Eskom being in a very bad state and the electricity going out nationally, through maybe one or two major power stations going off. We have taken the topic further than that. We are wanting to exclude any loss scenario where there is a systemic nature, which has the ability to really cause massive loss impacts to any cat programs. So in order to come up with a framework, we looked at the various scenarios in which loss events can occur. And if you were part of many conversations around the grid failure topic in the past, you'll know that it often results in, questions being asked about what happens in this scenario, what happens in that scenario, what about this wording, what about that wording. We all know clients have different policy wordings and treaties also, have different types of clauses and exclusions and so forth. So we felt it was necessary for us to come up with a high-level framework in which we define what is acceptable and what is not acceptable for us. And to determine, the correct exclusion or framework, we looked at 3 buckets, right? So first of all, what is the cause of grid failure? We know that grid failure can result in the physical damage causes. So for example, fires at power stations and transmission and distribution lines, and then also on the non-physical damage aspect. So here, the more operational type of causes to the electricity grid going down. The second bucket we looked at was what are the types of losses, or what is the causal link between the losses incurred with the grid going out? The first type of causal link type loss is the direct link losses. So, your losses that result directly out of the impact of electricity grid outage. These could be, the business interruption type losses as a result of the businesses not being able to operate. And then secondly, the indirectly linked losses. Indirectly linked losses could cover scenarios of losses that become more likely due to the change in the risk landscape while the power is out. Examples of these, as you may have come across already, is, for example, if the robots are out as a result of electricity being out, the risk of accidents is a lot higher. Another example here would be the risk of flooding being higher as a result of generators and pumps not being available at the dam sites. So those are examples of the indirectly linked losses. And then the third bucket we considered, what type of losses are we looking to exclude? So first of all, directly linked losses. We know that, with the electricity going out and then subsequently being put back online, there is a heightened risk of physical damage to tangible property. The second one is, I think the more systemic one, is the consequential loss or the business interruption element of it, as we saw also within the COVID-19 pandemic and the insurance cover that was triggered in those scenarios. So we then came up with a high-level exclusion, and I'm not going to go into too much detail with this, but I know there's many brokers in the audience, and you may have seen something like this or something similar. So Swiss Re is, I think we would describe Swiss Re as the cat leader in the South African market, and often what we do on the insurance contracts does filter down onto the primary policies. We know and we are aware that our clients have been very active in implementing their versions of the exclusions. We are not asking for our clients to implement our version. We think too many changes within a small space of time is not healthy, and I think it can cause some confusion within the policyholders. So we implemented a very general one, and we are happy to accept the existing wording so long as it meets our various requirements. And I know we're out of time, so I'll just quickly rush through it. I'll just go through what are the 4 criteria that we assess on. Right? So first of all, we need our exclusion or the exclusion to exclude any physical as well as non-physical causes of the grid failure. We need at least the directly linked losses to be excluded. We are happy to not include the indirectly linked losses within the wording because we feel it becomes very difficult to prove the proximate cause of those types of losses. And then thirdly, we also require the physical as well as the business interruption or consequential losses to be excluded. And then on the 4th bubble here, I haven't introduced this point, but we need to separate between what we call systemic and what we call localized events. And the way we do that is by using a municipality threshold. So in summary, if a loss scenario affects less than an entire municipality, we deem those scenarios to be covered. But the moment the loss event affects more than one municipality, that in our view is systemic, and any losses as a result of that particular event is excluded. So those are the 4 criteria. We look at every client of ours wordings and we test it against the 4 points. I'm not going to go into too much detail about that. And then the last point of the last slide we want to just conclude on is, I did introduce in my first slide that we want to remove any scenario where there's a CAT claim relating to electricity grid interruption. And that's why we would now require our clients to input in their CAT XL loss occurrence wording a restriction relating to their inability to aggregate any claims with respect to the electricity grid interruption. So the 2 scenarios that we require as the lead reinsurer in South Africa is we need an exclusion that is compliant and meets our 4 criteria. And then secondly, we need an amendment to the loss occurrence clause within the CAT XL treaties. Those are our 2 key criteria. Just some commentary on our discussions to date. We are in a very, very high peak renewal season, so we are having these conversations with our clients, and we see that the market has mostly conformed to our sort of approach, and we are definitely aligned with our competitors and what the market is doing. That's it for us. I don't think there's any time for questions and answers. And yeah, I talk to the presenters and the host if there is time, but if not, then I think we can go to the next topic.
Okay. And on that note, we have reached almost the end of the session. Please wait 5 more minutes because we have one surprise guest speaker right at the end of the session today. I have to comment on the Swiss Re panel. Appreciate very much making the time to join us today and highlighting something that we know, but just reinforcing the importance of that grid failure exclusion, making sure that the policy wordings are aligned to the reinsurer requirements across all the reinsurance arrangements, and making sure that our clients understand how much gravitas there is to this potential risk. As we prepare to leave our homes and go on that well-deserved rest, I want to just mention something else. You know, when we get to this time of the year, we all change from insurers, brokers, and underwriters to policy holders. So on that note, please may I ask that you make sure that your alarm system is tested, that the backup batteries are working. Please may I ask that you check your tires and that you don't get onto the road with tires that are worn down. And also something that I've become aware of, I'm very good friends with Wendy Nola, the consumer journalist. So I do a lot of insurance talks on Cape Talk and 702. A new thing that has come up is tracking, because we've seen this is something else that happened this year, this big requirement for tracking devices being installed. Insurers are asking for tracking devices on almost all cars. It is a responsibility of the policyholder to make sure that that tracking device is in a working condition and that it is tested. And we're seeing lots of claims rejections and consumer complaints coming through where the tracking device isn't working properly. So before you go away, make sure your tracking device is working. And then the last point, in my mom voice, I've been told this morning, I've used it a few times, don't drink and drive. Use the Drive Me Home services, use Uber, stay where you are, be safe, that we can all come back next year and enjoy the rest of this conference from February onwards. On that note, it is over and out from me, but I'm going to hand you over to Karel Nalter, who is the founder of CN&CO. Behind InsureTalk sits CN&CO. His dream brainchild business that he started up a couple of years ago, and he's going to give us a closing address for the end of this year. Thank you. I hope you have a wonderful year-end break, and may you be safe and blessed.
Thank you very much, Christelle. My address is actually just a very quick thank you to everybody for attending InsureTalk, for spending this time with us throughout the year, and wishing you all very well. Some great advice from Christelle there, our brilliant host for the year. So massive thank you to you, Christelle, to Llewellyn and the team who do all the hard work. Thank you. It's been fantastic. I'm in the back of an Uber, which proves that you can listen to InsureTalk anywhere. It's one of the great advantages. I'm off to a Chubb and then a Lombard function. Busy time for all of us in the industry, a busy good time. So no excuse if you're traveling, you can always log on to InsureTalk. Registration open, and we heard that if you're the 1000th registration person, there's some exciting prizes for you, freebie to the live event and some other stuff. So really just a very big thank you. Have a wonderful time, and that's it. Over and out.